Good evening all. It's a Saturday night. Outside it's dark, but I'm also warmly dressed because it's, well, it's gone warm again today, but it's blustery as anything. So what we've got is Greg's dad's Ibanez. Oh, it's got a name and it'll tell me what it is. It's the AS73 TBC tobacco 12. It's not 12 string, but it said 12. Anyway, Chinese made. Come on, you can do it. Thank you. Chinese made. And this was Greg's dad's, his late father's guitar, and it's been sitting in a box for a while. In fact, this very old box, which is really, come along, better suited to one of those old 60s, 50s arch tops. Anyway, what we've got here is, why is this thing just refusing to, what's happened to autofocus? Oh, come on. I'm gonna have to stop and restart this because I can't be doing with having to do manual focus the whole time. Hold on. Start it again, with this time with, hopefully with autofocus. So what we've got here is a special guitar that belongs to someone who's not here anymore. And obviously somebody's had a go at doing it, fixing it up and putting it back together again with a loom. And as you can probably see, it's well, it's a bit of a mess. But then wiring looms for semi-acoustic guitars tend to be, because they're bleeding hard to make. So to get this thing, there's two real challenges here. First of all, everything structurally about this guitar appears to be in reasonably good shape. I can't see any major defaults, you know what I mean? Faults, what's the word? Defects, thank you. Can't see any physical defects, but there's things like, I don't know, this is just held on, I don't know, with a little thing, maybe to keep it in place. So we've got the sort of challenge of the physical aspect of it to make it play. And like I say, I don't really see any immediate reason why that shouldn't play. And obviously I would rethink that if, you know, as I'm going through this, if it became obvious that there was something broken or out of line, which means it would be pointless doing any of the other work. We've got one pickup here. We've got pickup rings that are clearly broken. We've got a little plug of something else, we've got some washers here held there for some reason, I don't know why, but so this whole thing, well, we have to kind of begin from the beginning, start from the beginning. So I think we need to get everything off. Some folks might look at it and go, well, why don't you just continue the, you know, the wiring job? And the answer to that would be, in my experience, it's a hopeless task trying to continue with somebody else's wiring thing. It's just a recipe for misery. You don't know what somebody's done or how they've done it, and so you can't you don't know what errors or problems are built in already. So the best thing to do is to strip it out and start again. I know it sounds like a song, strip it out and start again. And there are some screws in here that are, well, they're too small really for this pickup ring. So we're gonna have to find some more things like pickup rings, which we currently not sure if I have. So anyway, so let's get this physically out of, it doesn't seem to want to come out. Oh God, I don't know why. Because the wire is, all of these broken, all of the pickup surrounds are broken. So yeah, this is really stiff. It's jammed here for some reason. It doesn't want to move out. We've got little screws everywhere. So let's put you over here. A closer look, perhaps. So yeah, you can sort of see it's in a bit of a state. And like I say, we've got all of this over here. Now, the difficulty with a wiring scheme like this is you've got to get some stuff on this side, some stuff on that side, so that we've got volume bridge, volume neck, tone bridge, tone neck. So I guess if I was to draw this out, what we was doing, of course it's an upside down back to front diagram, so I'll kind of draw it that way, even though we won't sort of see it from that side. So let's go the opposite side. We have got, to the inside we've got the switch, then we've got, away from that we've got that one, and then away from that further we've got that one, and then we've got, sorry, that one. That should be in a straight line. Sorry, I'm just going to talk out loud while I get my head around this. So then we've got the F hole, which is leaning the other way, isn't it? So F hole, I saw something like that. F hole, F hole. That one across to there, that one across to there, and so that's one to the other side, and then, well, that's terribly badly done. Let's get this a bit like the original. So we've got this, that one shuts up there, that one goes like so. So we've got one across from the middle, so across from there, actually it's more like that one. Then we've got, I'm losing my mind. I think we're talking about this is on the inside, stupid boy. Hang on, right, so this is what always does my head in. So let's try and draw this back to front. So we're on the opposite side, we've got the F, starts there, goes to there. And then that's a sort of that shape, and then that's a that shape, and that's a that shape, and then there's a wide bit. So there's our F, flipped over that way. So on the inside of our F here, by the middle part, we've got the switch. Okay, and then back from the switch, still on the inside, we've got one, and then we've got the other. So this is, here is neck volume, and then we've got neck tone down there. And then on the other side of the thing, up here we've got bridge volume, and then we've got bridge tone. That's not actually there, is it? Don't hurt. Wait a minute. Bridge volume, and then we've got bridge tone, which is sort of down here, which is terribly drawn. Sorry about this. Bridge tone, neck thing, neck tone, bridge tone. So something like that, which is a dreadful diagram. So if I were to redraw it, start with our pickups, second pickup, we've got this F thing going on here, widens, shrinks down, widens, shrinks down. That's our F thing, which is that one. We've got it backwards, and so to the inside of that, next to the fat bit, we've got the switch, and then inside in a sort of straight line, we've got, next to the end of it, we've got neck volume on the inside, and then we've got bridge volume further out. Let's get this right. 1, 2, and 3. Yep, so that's bridge volume. And then on the downside, over there, on the outside of here, we've got bridge tone, and we've got down here, we've got neck tone. That's better. Get this darn thing right. So the switch is positioned as a 3-way switch, which is going to face this way, like so, And then we have, I can never remember which way around this is. But what do I need to look at? I have to look at something online to get this make sense, typically. So the first thing that's bugging me is why isn't this moving? And that's because something, oh boy, something is jammed in place here. Why is that? Oh God, that bothers me. So I've got something jammed in place. I don't know if it's connected to this thing, but whatever it is, it's stopping this coming out. So we don't really know which is which. Well, we've got a bit of movement here. So that's a problem. We've got a hole coming out here. It's either too full or something. So this slight problem now is I can't really take any cues from this pile of this rig that we've already got. So I'm just going to try and find a way. We've got all we need to hook it all back up again, but I think I'm just going to need to break this down. So we've got somebody's used a cable tie to sort of hold it all together, which is a good idea. So we've got different bits and pieces. So let's try and figure out. We've got T plus. That's tone. Yeah. So let's see what I'm just trying to work out what we've got on sides of things. So we've got, separate these out. We've got one side, that's going to be a volume, that's a volume, okay, but what's it for? I think, okay, this, oh gee whiz, that doesn't want to come through at all. Something's blocking it. Okay, so this is a neck volume, right? That one there is neck volume, that's red, so I'm going to cut that free. And so what we've got in our, just take a little note of this, is we've got on the neck volume, we've currently got the let's do this properly. On the neck volume, we've got a mini pot, 1, 2, and 3. That's neck volume, and we have got the neck pickup comes in to lug number 1. That's neck pickup comes in. The hot goes to 1. The ground goes to the top. Over here we've got that grounded on itself, which is what you'd expect. From here we've got the tone. The tone thing is connected to the same one, so that goes across to, and that's got a sort of rubber sheathing as well, so that goes across to tone pot, so we call that neck tone. And neck tone is, on the neck tone we've got capacitor on the outside lug, we've got the hot in the middle lug, hot to the middle, and then we've got ground to the where you would expect it. So that is there, and then from the obviously from the output on this one, which is the middle, the output goes across to the switch, and in this case the output, the neck output goes to, sort of hard to figure out. We're using a common ground on the edge of this switch. What kind of switch are we going to use? I think we might have one of these. Actually, let's just use the same one in the notes sketch. So that's the switch, and we're going to, so we're at right angles. So that's okay. So it's using one side. Oh, there is only one side of the switch, of course. So we've got common earth on here. We've got this and this. That's usually in the middle of, well, whatever. So on this one, we've got the output from the volume comes in there to the bottom, goes to earth there, and that's a sheathed thing as well. And then obviously we've also got another one coming now from the other circuit, which is a longer one, which is coming across from over here, which is a separate sort of bundle. Where is the oh right, there's the jack on the outside edge. Right, so this lot here, we've got a sort of smaller bundle which is held. It's got 3 things. So this one goes, so this one goes, that's the first one, that's all of its bits, that goes to there, and then this one has a long wire, shorter, and this long one goes long, and that's going to, so we're saying this is neck, that's interesting. So what's this one? Output, oh, blimey. So that should be the output back. What does that say? Jack. Out to the jack. Which one is this? The middle one. Okay, so the middle one is output. Right, so this output on to jack. So that one comes out. That one there comes out to the jack somehow. Yeah, through there to the jack. And then we have the end of one stalk here. We've got and down here we've got this one. That's the tone. It's on the opposite side on this one. That's interesting. So we have, oh no, maybe let's look down on it properly. Okay, here we've got the capacitor as always, and we've got the thing there across, and here we've got the same going on here. We've got bridge volume. So we have bridge volume, bridge tone, and jack all in the same thing. So that goes to there, one to there, one to there. This one is the top one, and that's going to be grounded to itself. Then we have the input from bridge pickup. Okay, bridge pickup, bridge pickup, bridge pickup, and it comes into there and goes to there, and then there's an output which grounds those two there. There's that, and that's sheathed as well, which has a ground coming in across the top as well as there, which obviously grounds that pot as well, which is handy. And then we have an output which goes back to the switch. Does it not? From the volume. So the input, hang on a second. That doesn't go to there, stupid me. Bear with me. That is a dead one, we know that. That's going to there only. That's going to there, so, and that's going to there, like so. And that's bare, and then out of here comes this positive, and that goes into another one, which goes all the way to, where does it go? It goes all the way to the split point. So that one really doesn't go back up to there, does it? Really, that one goes into whatever. This one So why is that double done double? Because that's the pickup. No, it's not pickup. This is the out. So that also goes out to, they all end up at this earth over here. Now that one does. Wait a second. This is this middle one. This middle one goes to the jack. That's all it does. That's the jack. Jack comes in. How does the jack ground these pickups then? If you go straight to there, okay, this has to be, this is the neck pickup. That one goes to the jack. This one goes to the neck. All right, that comes back to the pot. Oh, gee whiz. Neck input. Okay. Okay, so right, so it does go like that. So that goes all the way to there. It has a ground. It has a hot. And here it has a ground. And then it has a hot to the top there. So that's bridge volume in, neck volume in, output goes to the jack. So that jack grounds that pot, and it also grounds that side as well. Okay, after all of that chit chat, we're in a position to separate this out and start again with some new components. And the reason I'm doing that is I'm not even doubting for a start that the previous wiring job is terrible or not a good idea, or pretty well done. I can see some of the logic of sealing, tubing things off and whatever, and I might do the same again in a very similar way. But I want to start. What I don't know in all of this is whether the pickups work, and I don't know whether don't trust the pots to be working necessarily. So it makes good sense that I basically take everything apart and test everything separately. So I'm going to do some cutting to do that. So what did we say we had here? Tone, and this one here is we're going to top. The top of the switch is the bridge. So this is the bridge wiring. Okay, and that should try to come out with that. There we have it. Classic Elite 6 bridge. I think I'm going to have to take these out whether I really like it or not. I'm going to have to trust that I'm going to get it back through that hole. Simple as that. So that's the bridge, and this one is, well, it's not too bad. It's got a double little tunnel in there, which makes it a bit tricky. So here we have the neck pickup through there, and we'll put it over there. Okay, that's the bridge ground, which we can tape off to one side just to keep it safe. All right, like so. Okay, now all of our bits are off. So now what I'm going to do, sorry about the view, is I'm just going to have a quick look at the structural stuff. The tuners are, some of the tuners, one of the tuners was loose. Yeah, the tuner is loose. Might need to refit those things. The truss rod channel is cover is loose. Could use a couple of little screws to hold it in place. The neck, as it stands, is looking okay. Not too good or bad. There's a bit of a gap there, but I don't think that's any different from when it was made. I don't think anything's broken. Yeah, so it could do with a bit of a brushing out and so on and so forth. And of course it could do with a good clean. So what I will do is I'm going to make myself a full scale, a quick transparency copy, which is just gives me the exact spacing of these things. Don't mind that my map was, initial drawing was useful anyway, just to work through where everything was. So this, some people are probably much quicker at doing this than me. Not probably, some people are almost certainly much quicker at doing this than me. I find it quite a challenging, brain-frazzling proposition to to work out these and build a wiring loom like this. There's some good, I like the wire here. I might choose to reuse this wire, providing it's all continuous. So just as a little thing here, I'm going to just attach that there like so. It's obviously difficult to get it to stay flat, and then what we'll do is we'll draw the important gaps on it we might be forced to depend on. Well, hopefully, no, we can't pass stuff through there, so we do have to use the F hole, which isn't the worst thing in the world, because the F hole is quite large on this one. It's, especially with small sized thingies, it's not going to be the worst thing. Okay, so here we have, looking up this way, this is going to be, it depends which way up we're going to be. We're going to be opposite way around. So we are going to go, this one's going to be neck volume, this one's going to be bridge volume, what am I talking about? No, this is neck tone. Oh. See, can't even get it right to begin with. Neck tone, bridge tone, neck, bridge volume, bridge volume. Okay, and then there's the switch. And there's our bridge pickup for reference, that's in case we need it. So, oh look, it's the right way around now. So as I take this off, I've got me a template. Yeah, so a good clean, brush out, get rid of all these little screws, which have been dutifully kept, which is a very cool thing. So take all these out and reuse them, but we've definitely got to find some more pick guard screws. And by the looks of this, these might be a little bit too small. Well, certainly were for those brittle old pickup rings, because they're just breaking the molds, shall we say. So let's get going with laying out the card. Oh, we'll get it on some cardboard. Nothing's rattling, that's good. A bit of cardboard. Oh yes, look at that. Wait a minute, Mr. Cardboard. Please wait a minute, Mr. Cardboard. Look at that. So this is going to be sticking through this way, just for the ease of working. So we have spiky thing, pokey thing. So here we have, right, those are bridge posts. So we have switch in there, we have neck tone, neck volume, bridge tone, bridge volume, and a jack on the side over there. And what we can do is we can get this thing and we can bust these as open as far as they need to be to accommodate the thing that's going in them. These are mini pots, so whoops, don't want them too big. Just like the previous person who had a go at doing this, finds, you know, it's just helpful to have things laid out in order. So let's see what we've got. A whole set of new parts, how about that? So let's put things into place, shall we? No, that's not the way want it, isn't it? Silly boy. It's going to go that way round. Now I just have to work out which side of the switch it is. I can tell with the other kind of switch, but I can't tell with this type, stupidly. But that's just going to have to be the way it is. That's the way it is. Probably to do with the thingy. So what we're working on the basis of the things we're soldering from the inside, or what things look like on the inside. Right, so we need it that way around, like so. Okay, so that's what we got here. We've got A500, we've got A500, B500. So A500s we're going to use for the volumes, and B500s for the tones. So A500s, B500s. So A500. All the way down. A500. There we go. Might actually need to leave one of these off, but yeah, I think it's too much. So we'll keep those off as spares, so we don't need too many nuts. We might do on the actual wood itself. Okay, can we get this on? It only needs to be a fairly thin little sheet of cardboard really, but I think that's just about right. Now obviously we're going to want, when we do this, we don't want everything to be too tightly fitted, so we've got to be careful that we don't end up with too little room. So that's a volume. Oh, I've just put it in the tone one, haven't I? Idiot. So that's not there where it goes. This is a volume one, isn't it? Probably. So even this is hard to get right, let alone the rest of it. So what we're saying neck volume. Here we go. So miserable weather today that even the cats didn't want to go outside at any point today. Okay, neck volume, the 500k for the bridge volume. And then we'll just have it laid out in place. I'll try and work out which is the bridge and which is the... Actually, I should be able to do it with a continuity test, I think. So the volume's there, and then the tones here. So I've not even got the heater on in here today because it is surprisingly warm despite the blustering gales going on outside. Come on, get out of the way. Yeah, I could have done this before I went on camera, I know, but just to show you how much it takes to do all this probably. So we'll go volume towards, actually no, they'll face each other because they're on the same sides of the deal. That's the important thing. Okay, and finally, the neck tone, which should be a B pot. So of course, with this, we have to do everything, wire up everything out of, outside of, or yeah, outside, and then we have to feed everything through. Okay, so there is our setup. We've got bridge pickup, and we've got neck pickup. And the bridge and neck at the moment are defined, well, they're labelled as well, so that helps. So we've got bridge is green and neck is red. So we might as well write that down so that we don't kind of have to repeat ourselves. We can use those sorts of things already done, particularly if it's continuous and the wiring's okay, then there's no point. So what do we say? Bridge bridge equals green, neck equals red. Okay, so what I'm going to do for a minute, I'm just going to put aside our little wiring board, and I'm going to throw away some bits of things that we aren't going to need straight away. Then we should get the testing thing, meter, because we want to be certain before we get stuck in that things work. So we have to be sure that the bridge pickup works and the neck pickup works. Now they're both, well, they've got one of these things, and I can pull it back a bit as well, which is good, because we might need a bit of fresh material. In fact, I might just go with an extra fresh cut back just to be on the safe side, and we can just make sure everything's working. There we go. So there's our grounding. See, it's much cleaner than the other bit, so it doesn't hurt to get some fresh stuff in. Okay, very fine little wires. Okay, so we're going to put the resistance onto the 20k mark. No, and we're going to grab the ground, and we're going to grab the hot, and we're registering bridge 10.4. So I know that works, which is good. So I'll just put that off to one side. Now we're going to check the neck. This has got all kinds of things to hold it in place, which we're going to cut off as well. Don't worry, I get to vacuum it all up later. Pull this back as well if possible. No, it's not going to work. So let us cut a little bit of this through. Now move backwards. Good. Okay, a bit more of this. The worst thing you can ever do when it comes to guitar wiring is start with either of these things, any of these things, faulty parts that you don't know whether they're working or not, and or someone else's wiring scheme, which, you know, so what you don't want to be doing is approaching it from trying to find out if I just put this here and that there, will it work? So that's really good too. So both of those are working. They're both labeled as colored. What I want to know is which switch is which way is the switch on here. So let's have a quick look. We don't know which way around this was. We know that the middle one was, no, where's the output? The output's in the middle. So what I'm trying to figure out is, if we go to the output from this here, we want the continuity test, and then we're going to go from the output of this pot, which is not going to be that. Oh, it doesn't matter which probe it is for the continuity. Output from that pot to the output from the switch, and that is showing. Sorry, that's not out. That's the input. So output here. No, I wouldn't find it there, would I? Silly me. What am I trying to find? I am trying to find and make a continuity between the input of this. I just do it on here, can't I? Silly boy. The input of this. Where's our grounding lug? Off to the side. So it's that way around. Okay, so we're going to go, is this neck pickup continuous with the output? No. Neck pickup. Okay, that's continuous. In the middle, It should also be continuous. It is. At the bridge, that should not be continuous. That's right. So in this position, switch position, let's draw it on here. Switch position is to the bridge in that position, and then we have ground 1, 2 and 3, and from the view we got here we know that's the neck input, isn't that right? And we had that as the which way around are we looking now? We have that one as the bridge volume. This is no, because the bridge volume and the jack are all on the same circuit. Well, that's coming out. Let's just check this again. Sitting up that way, down that way. So we know we've got the that's the input here. If we go that way, that's saying it's bridge input. Okay, I got the things wrong. That's saying it's the bridge input. And what it's saying is down there. So it's saying that is, if that's the bridge input, that's continuous. So that's bridge. That should also show up because that's middle. Yep. Okay, so that's that way is neck position in that direction, and that means this one in here is bridge, that one in there is ground, that one there's the output, this one in here is neck. Okay, that makes sense, doesn't it? So that's how that works. So it points towards the one. That's probably a simple way of saying it, but that's good. Make sure that's okay. All right, so what else we need for this is we're going to need some tubey things, anything we can do to help make it work. Sort of this stretchy tube stuff, which I think we can put to use. It's kind of good for, the idea is it will keep things from crashing into each other and getting stuck. So let's get rid of all these bags that I don't need right now. Okay, so I think I've got my things written down that tell me what I need to know. I've got my various bits and bobs here, and I can use these to gauge the amount of distance I'm going to need for various things. So those can stay there. I've got these wires here, plenty of them. I've got wires here, I've got these there, wires, don't need those, don't use those, probably need that, not that. Where's the thing gone? Things over here. So this is the fun part. And this is sort of boring as hell, and I would in some ways rather be just off camera listening to something at this point. But so what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow on the lengths that these people have started, and I'm going to make some tags for each one, so I can reuse them as long as they are functional. So for example, I'm going to go here and make me a switch to jack, switch to jack, and we know what side that lives on. And I'm not going to use this jack, we're going to put a new jack on. All right, let's put this on and save cutting these every 5 seconds. So switch to jack, then we've got a little one here which is calling itself Well, it's going to be, you know, which is which. Do we know which is which? No, I've immediately forgotten. So they put their own little labels on here, which defeat me. Okay, so I know which one this is. This one here is switch to bridge volt. So that's quite a long one. Switch to bridge volt, and that's the red one to the left side bridge. Yep. So switch to bridge volume. Switch or bridge volume to switch. Doesn't matter which way around. Bridge vol. Okay. So what was the first one we wanted to check? Oh yes, we want to get rid of these. I'll probably just stand that there for a minute while I'm doing these. Grab hold of that for me. Unhook this. And unhook that. Come on. Okay, so now we can do the same at this end, and we know what it's called. We'll take that sticky label off. We've got switch to jack. We know where that will go on the switch. Let's cut this off. Oh, that's just broken off altogether anyway. So we don't need that anymore. That's going in the bin. So these two, this one basically, before we go ahead with it, we want to check its continuity on down both wires. I just do with the thing, because if we don't check it, then we could always worry that if something isn't working, then that's at fault. It's nicely sheathed, so I might as well reuse it. That's the thing. All right, that's my logic. So I'm going to check first of all this side, the groundy shield side. Shield side, continuous, sticky but continuous. We're going to check white sheathed side, continuous. Right, so that is a working wire and it's got a label. Cool. So next one we've got one already done. So we've got bridge. Let's take this one off. That one off. We'll cut that one. So what I'll do is I'll just very slightly shorten all of these so I can get me a clean bit of wire to work with, and we can get a shot of these original sticky labels. So we've got some new ones on. So just basically, thank you, getting everything off. Okay, so this is labeled, we know what it is. Here we go. Groundy wire, if I can get a contact to it. Groundy wire meets groundy wire. Worrying. Okay, ground wire meets ground wire. Doesn't appear to do anything. Let's strip back a little bit, see if we can get a fresh start on each end. And if we don't get anything out of this, then we're going to have to reconsider. Okay, so groundy wire meets stripped back groundy wire. I trust this will be enough. If it isn't, then we'll pay for it in the long run. Now sometimes this doesn't want to come off when it hits damaged outer core. So I'll try and tear this off now. There we go. Right. So we should get a straightforward connection here, or if we don't, then we've got a thoroughly dubbed thing. So groundy wire to groundy wire. We stuck on continuity. Oh, we're on continuity. Okay, let's try that again. What's going on here? Okay, that is continuous. It's hard to tell if you're touching the thing properly. And that's continuous too. Okay, second one, reuse, switch to bridge volume. Hang it up there. Then we've got little diddy ones we can again still reuse if they're good enough. And this is, well, I suppose this shortness now, we'd probably be better off melting the solder at this stage. We've got a bit of extra room to play with. Perhaps we can't be choosers. I put a fairly large soldering iron tip on because I need to get a lot of heat into this quickly. Old stuff. Okay, get rid of the old sticker. Ah, now I know it's a. Is this the bridge? This will be the bridge. This will be the bridge. Yes, the bridge. So like, is the bridge closest? Switch. Bridge. No, never mind. Bridge is furthest. It doesn't really matter which one of these it is because they're both the same. Nearly the same. No, one's a bit longer. So this one going to the right hand side is, we know, is the neck. So this is the bridge tone jumper, as I call it. Tone jump. Bridge tone jump. Can use that. And then we can take these apart. So we can hold on to this tightly. Come on, heat up. Thank you. Come on. Are you for real? So this is the tone jumper for the neck. Isn't that right? I mean, you might think, why is he going to the trouble of using these again? And I'm really just doing it because they're already set lengthwise. So it's handy to have a kind of a good starting indicator of what length we need. So that's what I'm thinking. So what did I say? This is neck tone jump. Neck tone, neck volume to switch is very close. So this is neck tone jump. I'm going to test it. Neck tone jump. And we're testing the ground, continuous, and we're testing the hots, continuous. Good, put that up there, and then we'll take off the last of these. You know, there's no reason to suggest that this bridge doesn't work. Sorry, this, oh, bloody hell. This switch doesn't work. Thank you. But since we're refurbishing this and we're fitting new pots anyway, well, no reason why not to put some fresh stuff on if we can. Okay, a grimy load of earth wire, continuous, and a hot, continuous. And this is neck vol to switch, short lead, neck vol to switch. And I think that's probably all of them, isn't it? Neck vol to switch. volume to switch, and then that switch will chuck out the way. Okay, so we've got all our stuff tested, labelled. Probably still be a good idea for me to tidy the ends of them up a little bit and trim them and stuff so that they're easy to use. Probably don't need, probably won't need these outer stretchy expanding outer sheath things as long as we keep using this, but it might even still be good to put them inside because they could contain several, so there are points where we might have several bundled together reaching back and around. So here we have tidying up stage now. So let's take these freshly cut off ones and we'll go back a couple of mils on each one to give me some tidy up room, like so. There you go. Just in case anything's kind of horribly messed up here, it gives me a chance to cut some fresh, make some fresh contact, and then I can get rid of any grimy stuff at the end of there and create another fresh bit of metal to metal wire. So these are copper cores, so they're quite fine. So it might be a good idea that once I've cut these back a little bit, I just tin them up a tiny bit too. Now, if I find myself running out length of wire, then we may have to extend something. But as you can see here, this having a blob of solder on the end can stop you pulling this sheath off. There we go, that broke the solder off the end anyway. So a bit of fresh copper wire for the grounding, which we can tin and put a little lump of solder on ready for its when it's put to use. There we go. So slightly prepped a little bit. Put these off to one side. Let's get this back in. So it's really boring stuff, and the business of doing all this prep is really makes sense because you don't want any possible worries about any possible malfunctions. Once you start putting it together, you want to trust that everything you've got is working. You don't want to think, oh God, is there a fault? There's a wire broken in that pickup, for example. So we already know that's not the case. They are functioning, or they're at least showing up as the correct resistance. I've found out in the past that doesn't actually mean they work perfectly well, because sometimes the magnets can be incorrectly placed and you get all sorts of weird things happening. But so this is a switch to jack. So at one end it's going to need a blob of solder, and the other end it's going to need a fairly thin bit of tinning to go straight through the jack thing. But we can sort of decide which later, I suppose. Now let's see if we can put a blob of solder on so it's obvious which is going to be which. So let's go switch end. So one of them's going to be switch end, one of them's going to be pot end. So something with a big blob on the groundy part is a switch end thing, because the switch, they will have to go through, well, hang on to a single ground point. So this is messy. It's also a limited length, so I'm sort of a bit nervous about having to cut all of this off, but it's a grisly pile of stuff, so let's do it. Let's strip back a little tiny bit more. Come on. It's these ones that may run into problems with length, but I think we just have to have some fresh wire to work with, otherwise it's just not going to work anyway. And if they have to be extended, they have to be extended. I'm doing one by one so they don't come undone. So this is lug to lug contact. I know it sounds like a song. Lug to lug contact, so they want to go through lugs cleanly, so I don't want a load of excess solder hanging off them. This is not too bad. I don't think we need to redo this one. We'll just cut this fraction shorter. Yeah, so because it goes pot to pot, it's the same sort of fixing at either end straight into a lug. So that should be fine as is. So the less we can take off lengthwise on here, the better with these little short ones. Because the worst thing is getting caught without enough wiring distance, then we can't get it together. So just tin it for me, tin it, thank you, and tin it, tin. Okay, tinned and ready. So now we have switch to bridge volume, so one of them's going to be a blobby thing and one of them's going to be a straight in thing. So the grounding part looks okay. We'll just take back the hot wires a bit, and then we'll load up one of the ground ends with a blob to get it to just join the rest on the switch. Now sometimes you can get, if the switch is clean, you might get all three of these different grounding points through a lug on the switch the first time, so it might possibly be a better idea to steer clear of overloading it and see if we can get all three. But they're quite thick by the time you've wrapped them round, so that may or may not be possible. This is, I'm running out of cleaning power with my copper, whatever that thing's called, spongy thing. I might have to stick another one in there. I mean, the other thing you can do is, even if you don't want as much loading on here as all of that on your ground, but you can take it and cut it oblique angle and get a sort of thinner point, which may go through the thing with a few other pieces, but you won't get more than two of these bunches of wires through there. So it probably is better that it's got a blob, to be honest. They look good, but in reality they don't. A little lug like this exists on those switches just will not really take three clusters of ground shielding wire. They're a little bit sticky because they've been used, they had some other labels on them. That's not the end of the world. We've checked them, they work, so if we can reuse them for this task, then so much the better. So this is tone to tone, so lug to lug on pots, which is each one should go comfortably through a pot. That shouldn't be a problem. So let's just hold those up there to get tinned. Then we've got one more to prep after that. And the final one. It's looking good, actually. And it's a bit gnarly. Let's clean that up a tiny bit. And that's got a bit of corrosion going on, but it's only copper oxidation, so it's not really a problem. But let's put some fresh copper on here. again, a slightly crunchy big pile of solder on the ground bits, which is going to be difficult to get through the lug of a pot, but we can try. Tin these up a little bit. Where's my fresh stuff? Where's my fresh stuff? Let's put a handful of this in the thing. Chuck that away. Somewhat better. Thank you. Okay, so here we have all of our little wires done. All of the wires that exist in this scheme. But the interesting part is that they're held together in some groups. Not very excitingest shot in the world, especially with the reflections, but we'll try that. Yeah, so there's going to be little clusters, and for them to work, I need to put over these things in groups. So let's try and line them up. So we have switch to bridge vol. Bridge vol's down the end. Switch to bridge vol. We have bridge to tone jumper. So bridge to tone jumper. That's got to go round the end. So these three can be on the same, practically on the same thing. How's that going to work? In there, round there, and ultimately it's going to work, but it might not look the prettiest thing. Neck tone jump, which is there. It's there. So the tone jumps go across horizontally, if you like, but we don't really want them to go horizontally, do we? We somehow want them to go around, if possible. And then we have switch to jack. Oh yeah, we've got neck volume to switch. Neck volume to switch is to there. And then we've got switch to jack, which is going to be down this side. So the question I've got is, how do we get the best out of the way wiring so it all gets put together? So the bridge tone and the neck tone don't need to be connected across this way because they've been grounded up here. So that one and that one don't want to be encased in something, because if we do, what will happen? What will happen? Well, I'm trying to think. These two look like they could definitely go together part of the way down. And that goes to switch to jack and then switch to bridge. Switch to bridge volume, that's a hell of a distance. Why is it that long? Why is that long? So this is the question we've got to figure out. If in the factory, what they would be looking to do is to get all the wires round to here without any obstruction across here, and so they would be using sometimes extra long wires to do that. This is on the inside, so we've got a long set of wires down here, and we can get all the way around to here, and we can get round to here, around the edge, but we're not going that way. That's the thing. But could we go that way? Around in a wire, one wire. Blimey, it's doing my head in. I'm just trying to find out if there's any place I can put things together in a cluster that will make things easier. So I'm thinking there might be a cluster of three things coming up to this thing here, but that cluster couldn't be any longer than this neck to volume switch. If we wanted a longer cluster, we could go all the way down here to the jack. The jack has to be longer. This one could go off here to the bridge volume, which is there. So that's a lot of spare wire that appears to be unnecessary. And it's also all underneath the cover, not in sight. So that worries me. If we try to come up around this way, we would have to have a single piece of wire coming all the way down around here to connect the volume, the neck volume to the neck tone, to come all the way around here. It would have to be one of these long ones, like so. That could be neck volume to neck tone, missing out everything else. Because it doesn't need to be that long from switch to bridge volume, does it? Switch to bridge volume, could that be switched to bridge volume on one side? Yes, it could. See that? So I'm wondering if this one, if we're going to go switch to bridge tone, well, we want to go neck volume to neck tone. There's our biggest, longest loop. In that loop, we could also have switch to jack, which comes all the way down to here and goes off. So that as part of that could be joined. Switch to jack, and that could go around the corner, neck tone, like so. It could go like that. Wish we had a simpler way of joining things together. And then we have to go switch to neck tone. We've done that. Then we have to go neck volume to. We changed it over, haven't we? So that then goes neck volume to switch, which is a really short one. Neck volume to switch, which we've got there. We've got to go. We've got neck volume to switch, neck volume to tone, neck volume to tone. Jack. So we see if we can. Let's have a go at see what we can do. This will be a different wiring from how it was done, obviously. Okay, so now I've got some here, and I could do it the old-fashioned way. I could do it the way I would normally do it. It doesn't really matter. Shall I do it their way or shall I do it my way? I'll do it my way. So here's my typical wiring, which would be like so. So this will be, we're wiring that's not volume, so it's not tone. So let's do this properly. Let's do the tone down there. Sorry if that's gone for a walk. So we're going to put the tone there. That third one is now no longer in use, so we can that's right, we're going to leave that there like so. Let's get this one fitted on there like so and so and so. Come on. That's that. So this bridge tone, and we'll do neck tone afterwards. And I guess what I'm aiming to do with this is I'm going to go all the way around this so that we don't have any crossing. It's not the end of the world. While we're at it, we'll do the neck volume grounds like so. Neck volume. Like so. Very good. You get a bit of reflection out of here, which is a bit of glare, but quite difficult to see what's going on. So the basics. Volume pots have the, I don't know what the number lug it is really, have this lug facing me, it's the one on the right hand side, grounded to the top, and then the next volume, because it's the opposite way round. So that, my pointing business was not correct, was it? But we are sort of going in that direction. Neck volume It doesn't really matter which way around these goes, to be honest. He said, well, just they're each backwards of each other at the moment, which isn't really necessary. I was thinking differently a minute ago. So I'm just rounding off the tops of these. Like so. And like so. So once we do the wiring business, then we have to do a setup. We've got a nut ready. It's actually it is a Martin style nut, but it's the nearest thing I could get for the right size, so that will do perfectly well. So I'm just going to whiz this round here, stick this in the, stick it in the, what am I doing? Right, I'm going my normal way. That's what I'm doing. You can go your normal way. You can go your normal way. So these are my 0.22 microfarad doofers. Yes. Come on, down you go. Thank you. Sorry if I'm not getting things on camera very well. I'm jumping about to do solders. Okay, so there we have our things that way. Let's go back to this way. So we know we've got volumes. Now what are we going to do? We're going to go, we thought we could have the switch to jack and the, which is now not switched to volume, this has now become switch to switch to jack and volume to tone. So that to that, and that one goes around there like so. So we've got about so much. Very scientific. Let's see what we're best going to use. Yes, typically I don't have the hugest bits of shrink tubing at all, so I'm just thinking aloud. So all these are the same sorts of wire, so I'm just looking to get me something on there. So we have one to there and one to there, and that's the thing. So we want to go up to about there. Let's try that for a second. Let's go with a heaty thing. So, which is a bit of a cheat, so I'm renaming this for now. So I'm going to call this, what did I say? It was neck volume to neck tone round the corner. Neck volume to neck tone. Neck volume to tone jump. I've decided it will be. And so we've also got this stuff I can use. If I want that to go from there to there, and then that down, that's going to come round the corner there, split off there. So we've got about that much to cover off, which could be a piece of this weird stuff here. Let's try it and see. Bear with me. I'm not cutting this very cleverly, I don't think. Okay, so the idea would probably be, let's try putting this on this way. Sharp things, not likely to want to go through this very well. No, really, it isn't, is it? Let's try a bit of that instead. Again, it's probably not going to want to go through there. Maybe. Oh yes. Okay. Alrighty. Let's go. Okay. Just for fun. Right. That's just for, I don't know, just to keep things from catching on things. Actually, in fact, it will probably make things catch more than before. Anyway, so we know that which is which is which. Oh, very good. Do they go in a straight line? Do they? I think that one's got to be, well, we'll test it. Let's test it now. Well, it's red and red, that's fine. Simple code. Okay, so what do we want this one to be? We want this one to be switch to jack is the red one. So switch to jack is the red one, and it's the output, which is the middle. So we have this coming through here, like so. But first we'll go in through there with the ground, which we might try and share with some other connections shortly. But to get this to work, I'm going to have to get it out of the way first. That's going to have to come down here. Thank you. Okay, can I keep that? Let's keep that out of the way. This is the output to the jack from the switch, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, for crying out loud. Output to the switch, from the switch to the jack, needing a ground connection, which I've pushed through there for the time being, and we hope we can share its home with something else. Okay, now we have over the top, and this is the output. Is this the output? No, this is the input, which it has to share with the, in this case, this input has to be shared with the pickup input, so we can't glue that down, solder that down yet. What we can do is we can solder down this bit of ground. I need a extra thing, pointy thing. Where's it gone? There it is. I lost one of them, so I'll have to use this one. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to place this chap down here like so, and let's nail this down on here if I can get round to it. Okay, this should be all right. So that's going to hook up with the thing. Okay, that's going to go all the way around here, as we know. This is neck to tone, and it's going to come all the way around here up to tone past all these others, but it could share a link. So we've got bridge volume and bridge tone, which could now bridge tone jump. This could share another little piece of thingy. Move these out of the way, perhaps. Knowing my luck, that's going to have to go up there. So this is the bridge volume to tone jumper, which could share a little piece of thing with this, but instead of it being this scratchy stuff, it could be a piece of this other stuff. Now these are both red, so that's going to be important to remember which is which. Come on. So we know that's coming all the way through here, like so. Oh, this makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? That's going to come up to there like so. Oh yeah. Do we need one of these? I don't think we do. This one is the jumper. What's the jumper? It's coming off this one, isn't it? But we can't glue it in yet because, why not? Because the bridge volume from the pickup, the bridge signal from the pickup has to go in there. So first thing I have to do is get, in fact, probably do it off to the side, is get some solder on the top of here. Solder on the top of here, thank you. And let's get a blob of solder going on here, like so. Just like so, order. Get rid of the excess bit, like that. And then we'll put this down on here. Giving it under a little bit of pressure, which means basically the hot lug will stay in place for the time being. There we are, grounded on the top of there. Very nice. And then that goes out sort of a bit like that. Oh yes. Now this one has to go to the tone. So that one comes in there. So that needs to be a blob as well. We could go and get a little bit of extra webby stuff just to keep the look. And a bit of blob on here to help set it down. And perhaps a few millimeters of this wiry stuff, which is hard to cut, I have to say. A few mils of wiry stuff, not too much. Thank you. Let's bend this one over first. Let's go through here. How do you do it? How do you do it? Like so. I suppose we'd bend this one over as well. Go on, through you go. And you now. Now you. Huh? Yes, yes, perhaps. Damn, I should have soldered, heated that shut. Let me just do that bit. Since we're committed now. We are committed. That comes over here like that with a lot of excess frazzle. There's quite a lot of frazzle. How do we tidy up that frazzle, do you think? Do you think I should do something with... God, that is a bit of a mess. Snip. That ain't gonna work. I need scissors, which are somewhere around here. There they are. So, you should probably tie off some of this stuff. I wish it had an end that would seal, which it won't. Look at this, it's a bit of a mess at this end. Could I maybe, perhaps? It's not very attractive, is it? Oh, what I'm thinking is, would a little cable tie help? But it sort of defeats the object, really. It's getting really bulky at that point. Or maybe it doesn't defeat the object. Maybe it helps. Should we try? Let's get a little cable tie and see if it... I mean, again, a bit of shrink wrap over the top of it would work, but it just seems a bit excessive, doesn't it? Shrink wrap at the end of each one of these so-called protective what's it. And they tend to get quite sort of grabby, you know, get in the way of things. But hey, I mean, look, it's not the worst thing, is it? Get this one on here. Not like I'm short of these little cable ties or anything. Could do it. Somebody will look at it in the future and go, what the holy thing was this man on? Oh, I think it's quite tidy. Could tape it with something instead, but so we know this is going to the jack on its own down here. This is going up to here. Blow the hairy bits away. We've got a bit of solder ready to grab that there. We know that has to go in there because it's the only place it can go. So this is going to go like so. And this one goes into there like so. So we can like have a reality check on this in a bit, make sure that everything's grounded and everything goes the way we think it's going to go or should go. Ooh, yes. Okay, and we know that this comes up to here on its own. We don't have any fancy stuff like this. Why would we have that? Because that's just a piece of wire. It doesn't need any extra thingy. Now we're going to have a blob of solder on there. And could you imagine somebody out on a super bike in this weather? Are they crazy? Okay, so I wanted to come up. That's a bit. How's this going to work? Bend this round. Come on, you go. If I was really clever, I could probably come up through here, but I don't think I want to get it tangled up in any full size. Holy shoes. That is nuts. In this weather, you must be crazy. Okay, so there's the grounding for the neck tone and the input for the neck tone. I can't believe people are actually riding bikes like that in this weather. Okay, so that's now the signal from the switch output. Let me just get this right. That's going neck volume. Neck volume is coming all the way around to neck tone. Right, that's separate. Switch is going out to the jack, which it should be. We got it. Oh, for crying out loud. All right, that's in. Okay, that's that done. That's that done. Now we've got a couple more bits. We've got neck tone jump. And we've done that. Neck tone jump is done. And we were going to swap it for, we've got bridge. This needs to be bridge tone jump. We've done bridge tone jump. That's that one. Neck tone jump is that one. We have to go, so it comes into that, right. Volume next, so bridge out to switch. Bridge out to switch, is that what we're looking for? Oh, my brain hurts. We are going, so that is neck volume, neck volume. That's it out. So neck volume, we have the pickup coming in. Neck volume out should go to, neck volume out should go to there. And that should be neck volume to switch. We know that one. Neck volume to switch. So we need a bridge volume to switch. So neck and bridge volume to switch could share. No, they're not really going to sensibly share anything. That could have, stupidly, that could have shared. This is bridge. So this is now bridge volume to switch instead of tone jump, and we could have put a cable tie on there. Gosh, darken it. So that's the output to the input to the output to the thing, right? Okay, so that we aren't going to fit that into there, are we? Could we? See, we could have done that, couldn't we? Oh, look, for the sake of a what's it? Let's try and see. I don't know if we can. Let's see if we can get a third contender into here. No, maybe, no, yeah, no, yeah, oh, maybe, yeah, possibly. Oh, come on, you can do it. think you can do it. Look at that. Would you look at that? Right, let's just reposition this back here so we know that one's going there and there. That one's going there and there. Oh yes. Lock it off again, children. Lovely. Should have planned that a bit earlier, but hey. Okay, so obviously there's still quite a lot of as yet unconnected bits, and they are the bits that have to share I don't know what to call it, a lug. That's right, bits that have to share a lug with something coming direct from the pickup. So let's switch to Jack, the only long thing in the pack. You don't have to worry about keeping that label on anymore. And then we've got one more, the shorty, which comes from there to there, which really probably could be shorter, but can't really benefit from going through. It could probably benefit from being attached by a cable tie, and that's probably the only thing it can benefit from. I'm assuming that won't put any undue stress on it. Let's see. Doesn't matter how many cable ties are out of sight, does it? So let's put, that's going up to, where are we going? Going there to there, aren't we? So let's go one there to there. Put it through a bit, drag it through a bit, snip it off. And let's have another one just to try and spread out the load. So we could go, damn it. Too many now on here. Right, so we've got that. That's the bridge, that's the neck. So we're going bridge now. So that one has to stay there. Bridge. Bridge is to the far side here, and that is going to end up on the, oh damn. Okay, bridge side, fine. And we're going to have to try and put that on the, that's going to end up going on a blob of solder, I think. Can't see it them all going through this lug together without melting something which we don't want to melt. So I think that's going to have to go. Right, let's just commit this. Let's get this out of here. Let's commit the first one into position. So we can just add things onto that after that. So the first one, the common ground point. You are, it's official, you are grounded. Grounded. Okay, now we have the second one comes up here, and then there's going to be a third one. So those two, in an ideal world, could be together, but I don't think we're going to get it to work like that. This one is crinkly, so I need to cut it to clean it. And then this will come over the top. I think let's just try and get that onto the blob of stuff. We don't want too much hanging out, but we've got to have enough to get it to stay on like so. Okay. That's the middle bit. There's two grounds into there, and that's the, let's press this forward a bit so we can reach, turn it back. So that now is the bridge one. Yep, and the neck one's the shorty coming up in a minute. So here's the fun part. Here's the last one. Let's put a blob on this end here, because we know that's got to now stick to the group blob on the switch. Thank you. Okay, so it's going to go across there and over there. So first of all, let's just get it down on there. Okay, all things nice and grounded, all creatures great and small. Okay, there's our switchy components all switched up. Pardon me. Okay, so this is the output. That one's still hanging loose because it's still got to come through. We need a ground blob on this to help stick it down. It's out of reach, but never mind. Let's have a bit more on here. Thank you. Let's have a bit more on here. All right, you'll do. So it's, like I said, this is undoubtedly going a different way from the first job. Well, that's okay. Grounded, and out goes the output. Thank you. So that's the neck volume output switch to the neck volume output to the switch. Looking good. Just sorry, I'm having to spin it round to get a good purchase angle on it. Okay. That one. So this one's still loose, this one's still loose on this side, needs joining up, and this one is now going to join up. I have a little bit of extra solder on the back here. Sorry about losing the vision. Please do not adjust your set. Normal service will be resumed as soon as is technically possible. Right. This one, it's going down into the middle, so that's really got to come across here, like so. Okay, grounded. Lovely. Then over the top into the centre. To the centre. Thank you. Get out of the way, furry things. Okay, so now I'm just going to do this one up, which is the bridge volume out to the switch. Bridge volume to switch. Hooked up. Loose one over there. So there's only one loose one on each of these. That's correct. That's going to the jack. So there's my little wire up. Woo! So I'm going to move a few bits and bobs out of the way over to here. need to do now, including moving you, how are you doing for batteries? We don't know. Why don't I plug you in the battery department for a minute, just give you a break. I think we'll have enough in terms of time. How are you doing up there? Right, I'm gonna hang you by the head. Hang you there. Long distance view. Right, and I can hang that up out of the way. Let's get these out of the way. What I'm going to do just now is I'm going to move all the junk out of the way I can, just to one side. I'm going to get the guitar back on here. What I should do is probably clean that bit first. Probably should do. Get me not a very exciting brush, but try and get some of this I don't know what to call it, pickup cavity grime out the way. Tumbleweeds. Can't really that easily get the other stuff out. I'm giving it as much of a shaking as I possibly can. It's got a solid block down the centre, as expected. There's a load of goo on that. I'm going to get a cloth and some nap there. I just want to clean for now around the pickup slots. Now, I'm sort of lining up in my head to install this loom, but the problem, which I haven't tackled, is I haven't yet got, I don't think I have any pickup rings that are going to do this proud. So got a bit of old grime coming off here, as you sort of would expect. I've got some really nice guitar polish, sumac guitar polish at home, which I'll probably use on this. Probably should have. I don't know, we'll probably end up taking 2 nights or 2 sessions for this anyway. I can't, perhaps a bit adventurous to get it all done in one. What I can do, let's think how it goes. What I am able to do, having done that, that's the bulk of that done. Can't really test it just yet. But what I can do is, if we just hold off, what I'm going to need to do, what I can do tonight is I can do the geometric part of the setup. So probably better to do that than think about doing the wiring it all up tonight. At a push, I could take the wiring part home. So if I wanted to, I could. If I would, I could load this up. Out of the way. Load this up. Bridge on. Put a nut on. So why don't I just do that? So I think I will hold the horses on the solder part of things, and I think we should concentrate next on the setup part. So I'm going to take this off to one side, here out of the way, and throw that over. I'll hold on to that just in case. And I think I probably also need to, let's concentrate on the mechanicals for a bit now. So I'll get all of these parts, electronically parts, out of the way, back into the now very untidy box of electrical gubbins. We're off with the soldering iron, which is good. Get the tapes out of the way. We need these because we have got to find the things for them. Pick up rings, so that's important to do now, so that I know whether I need to be ordering some later on when I get home. And then we'll concentrate on the thingy parts of it. The setup, geometric setup, and at which point into play will come the nut. Right, so let's get that out of the way, this out of the way, that up here, this out of the way, that one somewhere. There will do. That one there. Bags of things, pickups, up and down there. That's off. Good. That's there. Good. Spare bags. Spare electrics. Actually, no, they're not spare. They're going in the bin. But I will keep the tip off this one, just in case we need to change the colour. Although, as I'm using the lighter colour nut, we might still just stick with the cream one. Okay, so before I get onto the geometric stuff, I will have a look at what I've got in terms of the pickup rings, because I'm not really sure if and how and why I've got any. Might, if anything, I'll have to nick some from somewhere. Where are they likely to be kept? Where have I got them? Put them? Somebody tell me. Right, out the way, out the way. You can go up there, you can go in the bin. Right, pickup rings, where are they going to be? Pickup rings. Any over here? No, there are some, but that's for P90s. That's not going to be any good. Pickup rings, any down here? No P90s. No. No. One isn't enough. No. Okay, so first of all, this is a flat bottomed one, and these are they're flat bottomed as well. Whether that's right or not is anyone else's guess. So we've got a neck one, probably. It's not bad, we're halfway there. I'm sure I've got something else somewhere in a box, but why or where, I don't really know. Let's have a look for a spare one. What's this? Pneumatic bridges, no. Tuners, no. No tuners. Single coils, mini humbuckers, tele pickups, neck and bridge, no. Humbuckers. There are a few of them, but none of them with any surrounds. Cakey and perky. Nothing in there. Hooks, fixing, sharpening stuff. No. Right. Pickup rings. Where did all the? I had a bunch of silvery pickup rings. Where did they go? Where did my silvery pickup rings go, which I bought but never used? What's going on? Not in there. Not in there. And this pile of stuff, perhaps. No. Lots of leftover stuff to be filed away, but not one of them is a pickup ring. That's that one. It's no good. That's got to go in the bin, taking up space. All this other junk. Leftover stuff. Pickup rings, anybody? Anybody for a pickup ring? No. That's rubbish, rubbish. That's important. That goes with that one. That's nothing. That's rubbish. Where would they have gone? Finger rings, neck plates, no. Okay, well, can't go any further than that. We've got one, unless I can spirit one out of somewhere. These are broken off, as they always do. So, unless I can find one from somewhere else, this one, for some reason these are the same size, so they're both neck. The one is a bridge, that's the size of the neck one. Not quite right. I've got a replacement. I don't think I've got any other guitars loafing around with the bridge one there. Could use, possibly. Could use that one. Possibly could use that one if I'm sure. Right, okay. I'm going to leave that for now. It's really mad because I'm sure I had some. So let's ignore that part of it. We'll have to either order one or I'll nick one off a guitar that's hanging in the men's room. So in the meantime, let's get back and do, wow, that's all wrong. 7 shades of wrong. God, what is going on here? Ooh, this is a bit manky. So I'm gonna set this up a little bit. It's not the best thing in the world. Running up the back, running up the back, not running up the back. Nothing's right here. So I'm gonna just try and set this up so that we can put some strings on it. So I've got a spare set of sacrificial strings there. This, in my book, would probably be happy with a roller saddle. This, for some reason, this is just very stiff, and it means doing the settings is difficult. I'm just going to give it a sort of an approximate intonation, which we hope will keep it roughly where it should be. And then we'll get it under load and yeah. So stick with me with the power still charging. Right, let's go backwards with this one. What did we do? We came back, then we went slightly forward, came back, slightly forward, came back. Something like that. Not brilliant, but it will do. Okay, so let's just come down here with your power plugged in still, and we can have a look at the nut part of things, which we're going to have to do. Let's first of all see how close we are with this nut as being suitable. It's quite a deep nut shelf. So we're on a bit of a stand up on its haunches there. Has it got an angle to it already? It's sort of looking half as if it does, which it shouldn't technically do because it wasn't made that way. But it's bottom line is it's not actually a flat surface. I would be better off dropping that in just like that with a bit of packing underneath or something, you know, even a bit of resin just to bulk this out, because you know what, this is going to be as good as that gets. I don't think it's any better, and I think we just, for this job, I don't want to be grinding away at that slope to try and get the right level, since it isn't already level. No, it's not even, it's stepped, and I think I will be just making it up as I go along. Alternatively, if I get myself a little bit of that nice putty, I can pop that under there. We can smooth off these bits. I will do. Just bear with me. You can't see me, but hear me. just done is I've just taken the little Martin style flanges off the edge of that, which I could do a tiny bit more of on both sides, but very close to it. And I am going to mix up, it's a new approach, but I'm going to mix up a little bit of quick steel, it's called. I'll just use it as a bedding compost. No, not the right word, compound. I think I've got another one open somewhere, but this will have to do. I mean, you could do it with, do you know what, that's true, that's true. Surely somewhere we've got a bit of still got any chemical gusto left in it, but why don't we zoom out a minute and I'll show you what I'm doing. Look, basically what I need to get for this is I need to get this nut as is. It's almost perfectly the right height now, the right width, feels nice, and I want to drop it on there. It sits nicely, but there's a tiny, do you know what, so I would be probably wasting my time filling this little gap. But I have an idea that I want to mix up a tiny little bit of this here stuff, which is all looking a bit yellow since it's been sat in here for centuries. But I want to mix up a tiny bit of this and use it as a bedding mixture for this nut, because that's too much by miles, but I'm going to try and get equal amounts. Because it's an example of one where it's already royally uneven, but the real question is, do I want to hack away at more of this wood to try and make it even, when in fact the simplest way to make something like this even is to have to make some sort of bedding substance. Now, I don't know whether it's got any life left in it or not, so I'll let my hands warm it up for a bit, and then we'll see if it makes a usable stuff. And it will take the tiniest amount, and all I'll do is basically press this nut onto it, and we'll kind of put strings on top and leave it there until it sets, and then we'll just glue the nut on top of that at a later date. So it's not the brightest white in the world, but it's a bit kind of grubby because it's not the newest either. Anyway, I think this should be right. Problem is, as always, is I probably should have used gloves, because you end up with a sticky set of hands which gets everywhere. But all I'll do is I'll put a little bead along the bottom, press the nut down on it, and then we'll put the strings on, and then we'll just trim off the excess. That's the plan. So I'll probably make a little sausage of stuff, and it really is only to fill the sort of tiniest little gap that would otherwise be showing. So I probably would get away with a little bead like so. Drop that on there. Oh, I see, we've got two bits, haven't we? Because there's a gap, of course. Put it on there like that, put it on there like so. Worry about it's coming out the outside. Now, of course, I can't stop it hanging onto my fingers. Oh, crying out loud. It always does that. It sticks on your hands better than anything around it. Right, so the idea would be that I pick this up here, and I would get this down on here like so, and I would squash it into place. Ow. And the first thing I can do is just snip off anything that's sticking out the sides. None on that side. It's actually probably not squashed down even enough yet, so I think what I'll do is I'll just trim it and spread it thinner even, so I don't have so much work to do. Just thinking on my feet, because I just want a little bit of a fill, but not too much. Come on, you can do it. So I'm trying it from that angle. Press that down on there like so. Could probably even do well with, benefit from clamping it or something like that. So again, I haven't done this before, so I'm just trying this out. I'm just going to get a quick look at what it ends up being like. I get rid of all these bits. And then what I should really do is, once I've quickly cleaned my hands, I should get the sacrificial strings on. There's a cheap way to clean the hands, not a very healthy way, but it's probably the only useful way in this situation. And that's to lay on a bit of the oldie thinners, because it gets this stuff solvent. Solvent works as a solvent on this goo. So what I want is, I wish I had clamps, small clamps that I could use, but I don't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get these here strings, which I hope will do the trick. Let's see. Come on, Ibanez. Yes, that'll do. I'm not too worried right this second about the loose tuner. So I'm just looking to get this held on in place. Okay, that's lifting that end up, which I don't want to do. What have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come on, which is the thinnest one? It's that one. Might not work, this little idea of mine, but I thought I'd give it a go. I could probably use the electronic windy thing, but I'm doing it the old-fashioned slow way. What I really want is to get that in place tight. G, B, G, B, G, B, that will be the B. I think I need to save myself a bit of time and grief. So this is, I'm just wanting to get strings on to hold the nut down in place and squash out however much I need to squash out to make it play. Sorry about my hand getting in the way. Wrong way. So right now, I'm not really worried about the condition of the fingerboard or anything like that. Come on. Oh no, please, come on. Well, that's not going to help, is it? Right, that doesn't work. I've run out of batteries. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a hammer, get that safely out of the way. Hammer a little tapping object to there. Tap that hard against there, which is where I want it. Now I'm going to switch things, because that's batteries. I need this to work. Move that away slightly. Get the next string, which will be a G. and try and get these done. Oh, come on, please. Through there you go. Getting there. Okay. Okay, nearly there now. Okay, that's not too bad. Sitting up on its little wedge a little bit. I don't know if it's got any sort of trapped in the front edge. Maybe. It's really hard to be able to see from here. I think we need to get this little devil off because it's not helping anything at the moment. What I want to do is to tap it in at the bottom if I can with something thin, narrow, thin. Can't really get in there, can I? Can I? Can't I? Maybe I can. Maybe I can't. Maybe I can. Yeah, it's not a bad fit. I just know whether it's as good as what I want. Whether it's am I going to get it the way I want it, how I want it. It's funny, yeah, you can see there's little bits of cracked, a little bit of cracked finish on there as well, which is sort of getting in the way. I don't know, I mean, it does what I'm asking it to do. It's sitting in the right place. Depends. Let's see what it would look like without it. I don't want to get my chisels out. Yeah, sort of, I guess it runs a bit up the side, up the front edge as well, which we don't want. I think I might just do the levelling as is. Oh, I do the silly thing where I could have painted the things. Oh, iPhone storage full. I've got no choice, have I? Damn it. Ugh. Not now. So sorry about that. We're now on the single camera and have been for some time. Damn it. Oh well, we got quite a bit of interesting things done on the other one. I can't get this damn phone to sort its head out. I thought I'd cleared it all out, and yet it doesn't recognise that it's not cleared out the memory. Damn it. To hell and back. Okay, well, whatever. I'm going to we'll take a little bit off this end as well. Let's get this tightened up. Right, it's making a noise. Right, first thing I'm going to do while I'm here, next thing I'm going to do, I'm in the wrong place, there is nothing happening up there. I'm just going to check the playing height as much as I can, close as I can get here. Tiny bit up on this end. Apart from that, I think we're good, nearly, height-wise. Get it into tune. Check the relief. How close to being in tune was that just by randomly tuning up? I mean, come on. Right, let's cut off these extra useless bits that we don't need for now. This will be the second, the last use of these strings. Doing this duty as sacrificial strings and then into the bin. Thrown away. So what are we doing time-wise? 7:30. That's 75% charged. Right. The nut height is a bit tall there, but you know it's fine. It'll set. It looks better now. It'll set as a hard base, and then I'll just take down the thing with the nut files. But what I really just want to double check is the neck relief at this point, and it has some, and that's enough for me. I'm going to work with exactly that much, and I'm going to get my fret leveling gizmos into operation, and yeah, get as far along as we can go. It's a Saturday night after all, you know. Yeah? I think what I'll do is I'll get the fret leveling bit done, and then I'm going to go switch off and listen to some stuff, and probably what will I be doing? I'll be doing something to prepare this. Okay, so here we go. Let's get the leveling, the miraculous leveling method on its way. Now this will not only level the frets, but it will also go some way to removing the play wear. There's quite a low fret on fret 1, so we may not get all the play wear off that one, but so I can tell straight away. A couple of high frets in all of that and some low ones. Again, fairly standard, nothing too surprising there. So what I'm interested at this point is making sure that all the notes play at the height that I've set them at. Thank you. This is a very odd looking bridge, the way it keeps these strings positioned. Oh, that's because I haven't got them pressed down all the way. Ready? No, let's just leave them where they are. That's fine. They're not actually, because of the way they're already bent, they aren't fitted in properly. A low spot. So to rescue that low spot, what I have to do is carry on leveling and concentrate a little bit more on up there, whereas there. So I'm going to get my beam back into operation, and I'm just really going to concentrate on a little bit more pressure up here on this little section. Now it will take down a bit more everywhere else, but it will sort of focus the banana tools effect on here. We do have a low one, so that's going to be difficult to fix completely on this playing action. Whoa, but this playing action is low anyway, so we're, you know, I always set it very low to begin with, so they're not bad. Improved, we'll call it a goer for now. And we use now onto the second one. We use the same calibration for that, and by the time we get towards the G track, as I call it, we're in the B track now. When we get to the G track, that's where I would expect to be clearing up any buzzing or choke outs when they're bending notes. There are some low spots on this neck for sure, which tend to manifest when you fret into the low spots with the low action. What you get is you get a little bit of choke or buzz because you're fretting down in a ditch, and the fret has to climb out and then try and get over the next fret. And even if the next fret is a normal height, it's not too bad. Oop. Now here we have this choking out completely on the G track at 15, 17, 19, no 17, 18th fret. 18th fret on the G. So we have to now, this is now the time to free that up. So that high E choke on the 19th fret bend, this is where we're going to get sorted out. It'll be the G track that has to be tweaked to fix. It's just a tiny bit over relieved now at this point in the radius. Wow, that tiny bit the other way. That's good. Okay, here we go. Ow. G track. Up here is where we're going to get the problems. Now I'm not really doing too much to the first fret wear. There's a fair bit down there on that first fret, and short of kind of taking out quite a lot of metal, I'm usually not really in the mood for, or in the game for, swapping metal for an aesthetic improvement, because those wear grooves tend not to upset playability. They're aesthetic more than anything. So unless a customer says to me, I definitely want those play wear grooves taken out, whatever the cost in fret material, then I'll do it. But at this point I tend not to do that exchange. There's a low one there, you see. 17. So 16 and 17 are low. 16, 17, 18, 19. So I'm going to concentrate a little bit more on the G track, but I'm also going to double check my action here. If we don't have the right radius of bridge, actually, you know what? Well, it's a little bit low, but I can't really. 1.25 just a fraction. So the radii of these bridges are not consistent. This G string is always higher than everything else, slightly higher. Right, I'm going to do a little bit more on the G here to try and free up those bends, but ultimately if it comes to a point where I can't free them up, then what I tend to do is we have to consider compromising and raising the action very slightly. But we shall see. I mean, this thing about having a low fret, if the chokes on those bends would be being caused because the E string that we're bending is starting in a dip. That's all there is to it. And the only way we can resolve that at this chosen action, is to balance out the difference between the highs and the lows. Well, that's done it a bit. I'll do a little tiny bit more on the G track at the top, and then I'm going to stop. Yeah, so it's about bringing the high or the surrounding frets down to bring their peaks closer to the bottom of the lower frets, and I'm afraid that's all you can do. And it's not, as I thought for many years, and perhaps loads of people always still do, it's not a result of bad fretting. You could fret almost perfectly, and some people even do. These disruptive little dips that are causing that choke out at such a very low action. I mean, if the action was higher, then you wouldn't get that problem, but we're going for a low action, so we're subject to very, very small tolerances. But those choke outs are caused by those hills and valleys, as I call them, and those hills and valleys aren't there when the strings are off. They're imposed into this neck when the strings are fitted and tuned to pitch. So it's the longitudinal compression of this neck when loaded with strings that causes the the choke out on those very high bends. But like I said, only on a low action. If we didn't want a low action, or customers wanted a really high action, then it wouldn't be an issue, because the effects of those hills and valleys are buried underneath the high action, which is fine for those people who like it that way. But people come to me for low actions, I tell you. And so, to get the low action, we have to tame the underlying fret board, and the topography of that board is more affected by the longitudinal compression of the strings than by anything else. Yes, it's possible that a fret may have gone in incomplete or just a fraction high because there's some grit in the slot or whatever, but it's not. Those are few and far between. The majority of the high frets I'm dealing with now to make this low action play is results from the compression of the fingerboard and the way the frets then move up and down in response to, or in reaction or result of that compression, or the bunching caused by that compression. And it took me about 8 years to figure that out. Yeah, a long time, but it was worth figuring it out, because I now know that, well, I know what I'm up against. I know what it takes to get the frets the way I want them. But like I said, it's academic. If you have the action, or you like a higher action, then that's fine, and you won't find yourself worrying about the effects of these highs and lows in the fingerboard. But for all those who want the lows, then they're going to have to care about the bunching effect of this fretboard. Now tomorrow evening I am running a golden banana pack precision leveling Q&A, live Q&A. And that's a Zoom session. For people who've bought my golden banana pack. Okay, that's that done. Next stage will be taking off these here strings, followed by, actually, do I want to leave that on? What do I want to do? Well, so it's not that late, so I should do a bit more on this. Stupid iPhone. Not now, I tell you. Not now, I tell you. If I take off, I feel like I should leave these strings on to let the white stuff set in that position. Yeah, I think I will. I think I'll call it time on this, and then I shall let that do that, and then I shall come back and we'll continue after that. So thanks for watching. It didn't go quite according to plan with the memory card on the phone, so I can fix that at home. Catch up with you on the next one, or the next part of this.